This is going to be a quick video on how to change the oil and oil filter in your Morris Minor. I always tend to get the cheapest oil I can get because it's an old car, it's not going to benefit from any expensive oils. So I believe this was $20 at Repco, and these oil filters were $5 each. They were on clearance, so I grabbed 2 of them. To do this job you won't need much. You need something to drain your oil into. I have a old oven tray thing. You're going to need some tools and a rag, and some gloves wouldn't be a bad idea. There is the question of how often to change the motor oil in the Morris Minor. This is a scan of the original owner's manual that came with the car. It says to change the oil every 3,000 miles or 5,000 kilometers. However, if you look online, it really depends on who you ask. This chap is using his Morris Minor every day. This guy recommends changing it once per year. Someone told me to change the engine oil every 3 months or 3,000 miles, whichever comes first. But realistically, it really depends on how much you drive. This is the used motor oil out of my car after only 3 months of use. I do drive the car almost every single day though, so it really depends if it's a Sunday car or it's a daily driver. So as you can see, changing the oil every 3 months makes the most sense to me. The odometer in my car is broken as well, so I can't actually use it to determine the intervals. As to what oil to use, almost every source has told me to use 20W50, including the workshop manual. First, make sure the engine is warm. This allows the oil to flow a bit easier. I just came back from a drive, so the oil should be nice and hot already. Then just pop the bonnet. At this point you could jack up the vehicle, or you could just crawl underneath the car and unscrew the drain plug. I'm going to jack the vehicle up, it's just a bit more comfortable that way, plus I can fit the camera underneath it so I can show you. Make sure you pull the handbrake and leave the vehicle in first gear. And chock off both the rear wheels. Then you jack the vehicle up. After it's all jacked up, I like to leave the jack resting lightly on the frame, and then you want to come up to the vehicle and shake it. Make sure it does not move at all. Now it's safe to go underneath. Now remove the oil filler so air can get in as the oil is draining. And now you just want to unscrew the drain plug. Now you just wait for the oil to drain completely. You go grab something to drink or something and come back. Now you want to remove the oil filter. My one has a oil filter conversion kit on it, so it accepts a spin-on type oil filter, but the ones without the conversion kit have a paper filter. I don't know how to work those, but I'm going to get this removed off camera because it's a bit tight underneath here. And make sure you have something to catch it because it's probably going to make a mess. Right, it's about half an hour later, and that oil filter was way more stubborn to get off than I thought. I ended up having to puncture it with this thing and twist it off, and there's puncture marks on the side. Anyway, it's off. I don't have an oil filter wrench, but make sure you dispose of that correctly. Next, put the drain plug back in, install the new oil filter, and fill the engine up. I like to put some Teflon tape on the threads of the drain plug. I'm not sure if this is bad or not. Please let me know if it is. I've just been doing it every single time I do the oil change. The drain plug is back in, and this is how much oil was in the engine. It is pretty black. I didn't think I had to change it so soon, but maybe the 3-month interval is required. Now we want to pre-fill the filter before we screw it into the engine, but I like to write the date today and when it's going to be changed next, which is 3 months later. To pre-fill it, it's pretty easy. Just use the box that it came in. And grab your motor oil. And you just slowly pour it into the filter until it's full. A bit more. Then make sure you grab a bit of oil and then spread it on the edge of the lip. This way hopefully next time it'll come off a bit easier. and it will prevent leaks. And now just screw it on. You only want this hand tight. Now you can take the car off the jack stands. So this is a 4-litre container. The Morris engine, I believe, takes 3.7 litres. So 1, 2, 3, 3.7 is roughly here. So I'll add it to about here, then I'll stop and I'll check the oil. You have to make sure the car is on level ground before you do this. Now you've got to wait a while for the oil to settle in the engine before you check the dipstick. In the meantime, check for any leaks and you could clean all the stuff up. Okay, it's been a while, let's check the oil. Keep my rags and stuff just over there. I check the oil every morning before I go somewhere. That seems good, it's a bit full, but that's alright. I'm assuming it'll go down a little bit after we switch the engine on, so I'll go do that now. I'll just leave it idling for maybe a minute or two, and then I'll check the oil again. It has gone down a little bit, but it's still perfect. Alright, let's go for a drive and make sure everything's okay. No problem.